Hey everybody, here we are with a Firefly match on Lakeville, playing by myself, and you're going to see probably a fair few games in the Firefly from me soon, and that's because I've been playing it a lot to try and get the medium tank missions done, and also because I'm trying to grind towards the Charioteer, the new Tier 8 tank destroyer in the British turreted TD line. The Firefly is a pretty solid medium tank. If you remember when it first hit test with its placeholder stats, it was a little bit broken. It's more balanced now, but I'd still say in the right hands it's a pretty monstrous vehicle. As usual, in a medium on Lakeville, I decided to head down the middle, particularly with the Firefly's decent enough spotting range and optics. I was also hoping to get some quick shots into the sides of anything going into town. Now I think my mission for this match was to kill 2 enemy arty. I didn't get it. I did get it later on in the same session, I think, but either way this ended up being a pretty decent match, at least from my perspective. Now I get careless here, and you can really tell how used to having Sixth Sense I am. I just sit in the open until it's obvious the enemy team can see me. I'm lucky I got away with that without losing any hit points. Obviously the enemy team are shockingly bad shots. However, I'm not one to judge because you're about to see me miss some incredibly easy shots myself. Now I'd like to blame RNG and I'd like to blame my internet, but as well as those two factors, it was just a lot of me taking shots I really wasn't likely to hit. Here we can see the enemy M7. Keep an eye on him, he's going to be a problem later. So it looks like the enemy are being pretty reserved at the moment. Only now are they really starting to push stuff into city. Didn't lead that one enough, obviously. And I waited too long to take that shot. I didn't actually manage to spot where it fell, but it missed the the SU-152. So he was able to get into town unmolested, as was the IS I took a shot at. However, the Leopard backs out into the open, and I want to take him out as quickly as I can. He's going to be a problem and keep me lit. There he goes. I'm still spotted now. There's an M7 here. I'm not sure why I didn't take the shot at him there. I really should have. I think I just wanted to see what else was going on. Actually, I honestly have no clue why I didn't take at least one shot at him there. I'm sure there was a reason for it, but I just can't recall what it was. I decided to push up a little, try and force some of their tanks out of middle. The 12T gets a very unpleasant surprise. Unfortunately, I overextend myself and drive into way more guns than I was expecting. I have to burn repairs on my ammo rack because of the T-67, and this will come back to haunt me shortly. I'm not quite fully in cover here. The M7, as I said, watch him, he's being a nuisance. Lets the 12T get a shot into me. I'm not really in good cover here at all. So the sooner I can deal with the 12T and move behind the rock he's at, the better off I'm going to be. I've also got to keep an eye out because there's still 3 enemy arty up, and depending where they are, they can make my life really hard, especially the 304. However, the light tanks seem to be distracted, and I look for shots on these 2 guys. Now, unfortunately, the SU clears the gap before I can get a shot off at him, one that's liable to hit anyway, and then I managed to bounce off the side of the IS's turret, probably just hit the curved part where it goes around the rear of the turret. With those shots out, I decide I may as well push now on the AMX and try and get him out of the game. I do so, but unfortunately I lose my engine to one of his shots, and then lose more hit points than I can really afford to the M7. However, he's also being interred at this point, and so he doesn't really want to play with me anymore. At this stage, the enemy have pushed right through the town. We're holding Valley, but Valley is an irrelevant position. There's no point in holding it. In middle here, this is really what's going to decide the match. So noticing the enemy have broken through in town, and noticing I actually do have clear shots and people are spotting them for me, I decide to get to work on the KV3, which is the best player on the enemy team. He's broadside to me, completely in the open, and I'm actually able to get a tracking shot into him. I switch targets for a moment, but the SU gets cleaned up, and then the KV3 gets tracked again by Arati. He actually appears to have got himself jammed there or something. I don't know why he stopped moving like that, but it gave me a chance to get more shots into him. And by the time he gets respotted, just in a moment here, he's fucked up. And my shots start dipping low and flying high and doing all manners of things that aren't hitting him. He pulls into cover, but he's pretty much dealt with at this point. He's so low on health. The ELC will probably clown him. I do look for a shot here to support the ELC, but it's not needed. He has it in hand. At this point I start looking for shots on the M7 again, hoping he will expose himself. However, the Jagdpanzer IV makes himself evident. Looks like he was going to try and push me there, but as soon as he saw me turning, because I noticed him, he pulled back. The M7 drives out. Unfortunately for him, I'm looking in his direction and am able to get a shot into him, which finishes him off. Now, we still got a full health Type 64 here. Type 64 has more than enough health to take 2 or 3 shots for me. Depending which gun the Jagdpanzer IV has, he can take at least 2. All I need is for him to take the shot, and then as the Jagdpanzer IV is reloading, I can pop it with the gun on the Firefly. It's not very high on health, 2 shots will kill it. Firefly's gun fires very rapidly. It's got about a 4-second reload with a decent crew and rammer. The ELC comes up as well. Type 64 does his job. Baits the Jagdpanzer IV, which appears to have the 88. And myself and the Type 64 double team him. Now the Type 64 nearly died doing that because unfortunately I wasn't able to kill the Jagdpanzer IV as fast as I thought, but we both survived at least. This stage the enemy get onto the cap with a Black Prince and an IS, and here I fucked up. I hesitated for a moment, and this actually cost us the game. Partly, it wasn't solely me that threw it. It was also the ELC. For reasons you're about to see, the ELC just drives straight off cap and goes after the Arty. Had the ELC sat on the cap and, aimed his gun while stationary, we would have won. Had I not hesitated, we also would have won. It was equal parts my fault and the ELC's. I did bitch the ELC out here in a minute at the end of the map, or sorry, at the end of the match. But in hindsight, I was as much to blame as he was. So I suppose if he's watching this, sorry. It wasn't all you, it was me as well. Either way, with a 2,000 damage match, actually more than 2,000 because of the blind shots on the KV3, I gotta be happy with that. And the Firefly does actually produce 2k damage matches fairly easily. Although it may only do 150 alpha per shot, those shots every 4 seconds with very, very good pen for a tier 6 medium add up very quickly. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you enjoy seeing the Firefly in action, because there will be more of this coming. It's a really quite enjoyable tank. I quite like it. And I think it's a good general sort of tier 6, similar to the VK3002M. It's just a decent all-rounder. It doesn't have the best gun depression, it doesn't have the best mobility, it doesn't have the best armor, doesn't quite have the best gun. The T-3485 probably has the best overall gun of any tier 6 medium. But it's just a good generalist. It does everything well enough, it doesn't do anything too badly. And at the moment at least, its armor scheme is actually confusing enough for the pubbies. They do bounce quite often off the Firefly just because they don't know where to shoot it, and quite often they'll shoot at the gunner's up-armored pad on the side of the turret, which is nice of them because it tends to bounce off of there. Anyway, thank you for watching the video, and I will, as ever, see you on the next one.